There
Sure.
we go. All right.
Let's do it.
Reports from Morgan Stanley claim Nintendo is working on a new handheld system codenamed the MH, with Nintendo having previously stated that the NX would be a successor to neither the Wii U or the 3DS. People are questioning what niche the MH is supposed to fill.
That's a really good question. I don't know.
My hand.
God, I just don't know how much.
This is very speculative.
Yeah.
It's hard because the 3DS is a really solid handheld, and it's kind of, I don't know where they can go from there.
It's true. I don't know where you go from there.
Yeah. And I mean, this report is coming out of a financial group who's like working on Nintendo's finances.
See,
that's where it's coming from.
Here's the thing about mobile gaming is that some point you start getting diminishing returns the better your hardware gets, and this was exactly shown off by the fall of the Vita. All right, the Vita had wonderful processing power, could put games out on a graphical level that rivaled stuff on the PlayStation 3, and it performed really, really well. But then the onus then becomes on the developer to develop a game that is worthy of that hardware. And the thing is that
that's why I never bought a Vita.
The hardware never sold well enough for developers to look at it and go, well, that's a viable market.
That's a catch-22 in that sense.
That I can throw a whole bunch of development hours at. When your total audience is limited to a couple of million people versus the astronomical like 33 million that the 3DS sold, it doesn't add up and it doesn't make any sense. You're spending way more development time. It would make sense if there was like a project for a PlayStation 3 game that never saw fruition. Mm-hmm. That it would be pointless to put it out on PlayStation 3 now.
That's what I thought they were going to do with Type 0, and Type 0 would have made me buy a Vita, and then they didn't. So.
And no, all they did was upscale the textures and put it on the PlayStation 4, which I mean that thing should have probably been on a Vita.
That would have made me buy the Vita, and then I would have bought other games to go along with it.
You would have bought a Vita for Type 0?
I was planning on it. Because I wanted a Vita.
Why?
I worked at GameStop and I knew everything about the Vita, and I was like, this is a really solid system, but there needs to be a game that I want to play that I can't play anywhere else. That means I need to get one.
But you would say that
like Smash Brothers.
But you would say that even after getting your hands on the PS4 version of Type 0?
Not necessarily. I was saying if it was only on the Vita and nothing else.
If she had never played it. If she was still waiting to play Type 0.
And she's not saying that she would have been happy with it, but at that
I'm just
point
saying
you
that
already have
I was waiting for a game that
I get it.
That was developed for the Vita, and I think it is a catch-22. It's like you're going to say, okay, people won't buy the Vita until there's a game good enough developed for it, but no one's going to develop games if nobody buys it. It goes in circles.
It is exactly a catch-22. So
for those of you who wander